When I was in college, which is Amrita University, way down in the south, I wanted to do a lot of things. I wanted to visit a lot of places with friends. I wanted to eat outside food because the mess food sucked. And I wanted to invest in my hobbies. Now, obviously, all of those things required money. And whenever I would ask my father for money, he would give it to me. But I would always feel a little bit guilty about it, asking my parents again and again for money. So I wanted to have my own money. And for that, I tried a lot of things to make money while being a student, and some of those things or some of those methods I failed terribly in. But soon enough, I was able to find a few things that got me success and got me money. And I was able to earn around 3 lakh rupees, if I remember correctly, in a span of 2 years. And which was a lot being a college student. And I was able to become a little bit financially independent, invest in the right things, and it was a great experience. And I know some of you may be in the same boat where you don't want to ask your parents for money, you want to pay your own fees, you want to be financially independent while being in college, and it is very much possible. And I'm going to tell you how. Just a little bit of disclaimer, I'm not going to tell you anything unethical or any crazy, get rich quick scheme. I'm only going to tell you things which will help you in your career. So, no trading, no crypto, no nothing like that. Only the things which will help you in your career of becoming a software engineer, only those things I'm going to tell you. So with that being said, let's start with the first thing, which is open source. When I was in college, I didn't have much idea about open source, and it's an interesting story how I got to know about it. So when I was in my first second month of college, I had this roommate who's a great friend of mine. So he was always in his laptop, he would always be in his laptop doing something 24/7. एंड आई वाज ऑलवेज थिंकिंग कि यार ये क्या कर रहा है, ये पूरा दिन लैपटॉप लेके क्या करता है ऐसा. एंड आई हैड नो awareness of development, coding, programming, and he was in his laptop 24/7 day and night. I would see him is just on his laptop. So I was wondering कि ऐसा क्या करता है. And then after few months he told us and we got to know that he has earned 3,000 US dollars from something called GSOC. And $3,000 for a college student is a pretty big deal. So after that I got to know कि GSOC जैसी भी कोई चीज़ होती है, open source भी कुछ होता है. And if you look around you, if you look at the apps you're using, the websites you're using, a lot of things you're using, you'll see a good majority of them are open source, which means that their source code is open to the public and you can make modifications into them, you can make advancements into them, you can contribute to that. And with that, you can become an open source contributor and you can join any open source programs, which will make you a good amount of money. So it might sound complicated if you're a beginner. How do you do it? Very simple. First thing, learn a particular skill and get very good at it. It can be anything. It can be app development, it can be web development, front end, back end. Pick a skill, see some YouTube resources. You don't need any paid resource. See some YouTube resources, become very good at it, and after that, you can just start contributing. How are you going to do that? Go on GitHub, make a profile, and start contributing. Look for open issues. You don't need to make a drastic change right off the bat. You can start small. It is fine. You can make a small change to the UI, you can make a small change to the front end, and with that, you can get started. So, learn a skill, make a GitHub profile, join an open source community, which is going to help you. And then once you start being better at it, you can join an open source program like GSOC, C4GT, Linux Foundation program, Hacktoberfest, MLH Fellowship. You have a lot of variety. Once you become good at it, you can join any one of them. Now, if you want to go deeper into open source, then recently I invited a master of open source on my channel. So the student has cracked GSOC, he has cracked C4GT and various other open source programs. He explains very well how anyone can do open source and how anyone can crack GSOC. So if you're interested in open source, definitely go watch that video. Link will be in the description. And not only open source can get you a good amount of money, but it can also help you in your placement journey, because you can mention your open source contributions in your resume, and that will definitely set you apart while you go for placements. Now, coming to the second part, and this is my recent favorite, and this is hackathons. So in open source, your individual contributions matter, but in hackathon, you're in a team. So in hackathons, you have a team of people who are building a project or a product in real time to solve a real world problem statement. So you'll have a problem statement and you have to build a project in real time to solve it. And hackathons are a great way to get exposure and becoming a better developer or a better engineer. And not to mention, you can earn crazy amount of money in hackathon. Recently, I invited Aryan on my channel who had earned 9 lakh rupees from winning hackathons, right? So if you win hackathons, it will definitely earn you a good amount of money, and it can also help you in getting placed, because a variety of companies right now, you can see on the screen, all of these companies hire via hackathons. So definitely you can even get a good placement as well. So start giving hackathons. How do you do that? Very simple. First, same as open source, get good at any particular skill. This is something that you will have to do, okay, because it's a long term process. This is not something आज trade डाला कल निकाल लिया. It's not something like that. There's no risk to it. It's a long term rewarding experience. So you have to work, okay, you have to work, but you can earn good money. So like open source, learn a skill. Can be front end, can be back end, can be Android, can be embedded systems, can be anything. Just learn a skill and be very good at it. That's step number one. Step number two is find a good team. Finding a good team is very important. Don't be just like you take all your friends. Find a team that complements your skills. So if you have something like front end, make sure that you have other members in the team who knows databases. So you need a team which is very complete, so to speak. Now, once you have the team ready, then look out for hackathons. You have websites like Devfolio in which you can find hackathons. You have SIH, you have various regional hackathons. So you can just take part in hackathons. And once you get into it, it's a great experience and you can start winning hackathons and make a good amount of money. If you want to know more about how you can win hackathon, then me and Aryan made a video in which he has clearly explained how anyone can win hackathon. He has given the perfect roadmap for winning hackathons. Make sure that you watch that video as well. The link will be in the description. Now, the third way with which you can make money, and this is my all-time favorite, and this is by teaching. This is something that I even do right now. So you have a variety of places in which you can become a teaching assistant while being in college. So you have places like Coding Ninjas, you have Algo Zenith, you have Teacher On. Teacher On is something that I made very good amount of money on. Apart from that, you have Tryo, Boss Coder, Tutor Academy, White Hat Junior. All of these are companies, tech companies, that are looking for teaching assistant pretty much all the time. So you need to be a subject matter expert for this. And the subject that I chose was DSA. And I will also suggest that you choose DSA because DSA is pretty easy to learn. And if you become good at DSA, it will also help you in your placements. And second, DSA is even easier to teach. So if you're good at DSA, you can easily teach it to others. So this is something you can make good amount of money in. There are a lot of companies, like I mentioned, which will pay you up to 1 lakh rupees per month just for teaching students. So pick a subject, pick a computer science subject. My preference is DSA. Be very good at it, solve problems, and start applying to all of these companies. Now, on LinkedIn, you'll find a lot of openings. For example, Take You Forward was hiring recently, AlgoZenith was hiring recently. So just be on the lookout for that. Fill up the form, upload a video of yourself teaching, and you can definitely get into one of these various companies, become a teaching assistant, become better at DSA, gain more knowledge, and gain money along the way. Not to mention that some of the people that I know who are working now at great companies started off as teaching assistants. So Samrat, who's working in Atlassian, started off as a teaching assistant. Kshitij, who's working in Google, has cracked multiple companies, also started out as a teaching assistant. So this is something that is going to help you in your long-term career as well. Now, the fourth thing that I'm going to suggest to you is something that will take you a lot of time, and there's a lot of competition in this. But if you get settled in this field, if you know how to get good in this field, then there's no limit for making money. And this field is freelancing. So I know a lot of you might be thinking that freelancing is a pretty saturated field right now, but that is only if you're not creative about finding clients. Recently, I invited a friend of mine, a junior of mine, who's making 1 lakhs per month, upwards of 1 lakhs per month, just by doing freelancing. So how do you freelance? There's two fields in freelancing. One is the creative field, and then you have the technical field. Now, in creative field, it is easier to learn. The learning curve is easy, and you don't make that much money, but it's easier to crack into. And in creative field, you have things like thumbnail designing, video editing, logo designing, these kind of things. Then you have the technical field, where you have things like app development, web development, no code development. These things will take you more time, but they will also pay you more. So depending on whichever way you want to go, you can decide on your own. If you're a creative person, you can go into the creative field. If you're a technical person, you want to work more on your technical skills, you can go into the technical field. So the first step will be for both of these to get better at it. So go on YouTube. If you're doing video editing, go on YouTube, search for some playlists on video editing, start it. Likewise, if you want to do app development, go on YouTube. You can even pick a course on Udemy for the technical field. But again, YouTube has a variety of resources. Go on YouTube, start learning the skill, be a master of the skill, and that's it. Now it's time to start finding clients. So for the creative field, it is way easier to find clients. I'll tell you why. Because everyone nowadays is a content creator. You can find so many people on YouTube who are pumping out content. Even in our field, in edtech, you'll find so many people who are making content, who are making videos. You can just go into their about section, mail them your portfolio, and ask them that you can make thumbnails for them, you can do video editing for them. And if you mail 100 people, definitely few of them will reach out to you, and definitely few of them will be able to convert. For technical, it is a bit more difficult because it's very much saturated right now. So what you need to do is you need to find clients in places other people are not looking. Two of those places that I recently got to know about, from where a good chunk of people are able to get good money and good clients, are Reddit and Twitter. So in Reddit, you have a variety of subreddits where people tell about their app ideas, their website ideas, and they don't know how to build them, but they want to make a startup. So in that case, they're willing to hire freelancers. So this junior of mine who I mentioned is making 1 lakh per month just by freelancing, is using Reddit to find majority of his clients. So be active in Reddit subreddits. Some of the subreddits I'll mention in the description. Be active on those subreddits, and then you can find clients. It might take you some time, but once you start, then the word of mouth will spread and you'll be able to get more clients. Likewise, on Twitter, you'll find many people tweet about app ideas, website ideas. They want to make it, but they don't have the right resources. So you can message them, you can talk with them, set up a meeting, and then you can convert them as a client. So freelancing might be difficult and may not be that good in the beginning, but once your footsteps in freelancing, you can make hell a lot of money just by doing freelancing. And if you want to know more about freelancing, then you can watch that video which I made with Balaji. You can watch that video, look at his journey, and get some inspiration. Now, the final way with which you can make money while being in college is by content creation. So, two very great platforms for content creation right now are LinkedIn and YouTube. You'll see a lot of people on LinkedIn are making content. They're able to get sponsorships on LinkedIn, and they can earn a good amount of money just for writing posts. So you can make 2 to 3K just by writing a post for a company in a sponsored post. So if you have a good amount of LinkedIn followers, if you have a good amount of LinkedIn reach, you can make a good amount of money using that. Likewise on YouTube, everyone knows if you have a good YouTube channel, if you're able to get some good views, then you can make money out of that. YouTube pays around 50 cent per thousand views. You can say 50 to 60 cents for 1,000 views, and you can get sponsorships on YouTube. It's pretty good if you're doing performing well on YouTube. LinkedIn is also something which is pretty new. You don't have that much saturation on LinkedIn. YouTube, it's pretty saturated, but LinkedIn, there's not that much saturation. So I'll highly suggest that you start creating content on LinkedIn and YouTube. And I might be shooting myself in the foot here by increasing my own competition and telling you guys to open your profiles. But if you're serious about it, then content creation is a very good thing. You just have to be passionate about it, and you have to show to the world that you have a skill. Because if you are useless, nobody is going to follow you. So you need to capitalize on some skill, some achievement. Once you do that, you can create content on LinkedIn, gain more impressions, get sponsorships there. You can go on YouTube, gain more views, and just by views, you can get money, and you can even get sponsorships here as well. So content creation is something that I won't suggest going too deep into it because it may not be related to your long-term career goal, but you can do it as a hobby and see where it goes. So that's pretty much it. The video became longer than what I wanted it to be. I wanted to talk about a few more things, but I don't think I can fit this in the video. So a couple of bonus tips I'll be giving in the description box as well. Make sure that you read the description box. I'll be putting resources and a lot more things there. It'll be worth your while. So thanks for watching. Let's see you in the next one. Thank you.